Coming up on this episode of Free Lunch.
Keep the energy and the culture.
Yes.
I don't care if you the baddest hairdresser.
Listen, I don't care.
Your energy better be right.
Listen, I don't even want it. I don't care if you are the best, because too often we are just we're taking care of the kids, we're working the job, we're maybe squeezing in a monthly date. It's just like we're just doing this because this is just what we've always done. People are attracted to people, right? So you want what I can give you, but you also like me.
The physical manifestation might be something you like.
Absolutely.
But I want this spiritual transaction to
Right.
actually be so saturated with the goodness that you leave the chair and you experience things like
Absolutely.
people crying in your chair.
Absolutely.
Or, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Freestyle Gospel, a.k.a. The Real Free. And it's another episode with another super dope individual. I have none other than the curly hair girl, Lavina herself. Give it up for Lavina Leslie, y'all. How you doing, girl?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. So I've known Lavina now for, how long have we known each other
I don't
now,
know.
Lavina? I'd say like
10, at least.
yeah, somewhere around there. And you have your own hair salon for just curly hair girls.
Correct.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about just you as an individual before we jump into the curly hair girl salon or whatever. But I know you, the people here don't know you, and they need to know you if they don't already. So who is Lavina Leslie, the curly hair girl?
That's a good question. I actually have been thinking about that a lot lately because when somebody asks you like, who are you? Right? I'm not Lavina. I'm actually too deep to even explain who I am.
We get deep on this show.
I know, but
Get deep.
I'm discovering who I am. I'm trying to figure out who I really am. But I am a child of the Most High God. I am a light bringer. I am a mother. I am a friend. I'm a sister. I am a coach. I'm a cheerleader. I'm a business owner. I'm a real entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur in my heart. I think I was actually born an entrepreneur. I'm a really happy person who lives in like total gratitude. That's who I am. And my name is Lavina.
Lavina. So where is Leslie, the Lavina Leslie, is that part
Maiden
of-
name. No. That's the name I was born with.
Okay, all right. So Lavina, the one who is not but is happening. She is not a noun, she's an adjective.
That's correct.
Wow.
Maybe even a verb.
Don't get too deep. man.
Maybe even a verb.
I am becoming.
Exactly.
I am becoming. I love that though.
It's true.
Because people don't think of that.
Right.
Like, you usually have like some ready to fire like answer when someone says, "Who are you?" You don't really factor in that the who you are in that moment when you answer that question might not be the same answer a year from now.
Right.
So now I have to like go back
Right.
and I'll reintroduce yourself.
Exactly. Because who you are is always, should be.
So where's
Always
this idea come up with the whole like curly hair salon? Like all right, so what is actually the official name of the salon?
Okay. So the salon is the Curly Hair Salon by Lavina Leslie.
The curly
It started out as Lavina Leslie Salon because when I started the salon, I was maybe 31 or 32. I'm not sure exactly how old I was. But at that time, I really wanted something named after myself. And it's just like one of those things. I think I probably always grew up thinking I want something named after me. But now
So it wasn't always the for curly hair.
it was Lavina Leslie Salon, but it was the curly hair kind of came after.
Oh, like a subtopic or something.
Yes. Yeah. Whereas like now it's the Curly Hair Salon by Lavina Leslie.
Gotcha.
Because now I'm still very attached to the brand, but because I have such a team that's growing, it's not just me. I'm not the face as I was for so long. It's now like we are a team. It's the Curly Hair Salon, not like Lavina Leslie, the Curly Hair Salon.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
So where did the present vision for the curly hair salon, it being centered around curly hair, was that initial vision, even though that might not have been the name on the front end?
Yes, it was. And it was, I'll show you a picture. It was when I opened storefront 10 years ago. It was on the...
So you've always had, like, your whole life growing up, like...
No.
No. Your hair wasn't always curly?
No.
So tell me about, how do you transition to that?
It's so funny, right? So I grew up, I'm biracial. My mother was a white woman, a white Jewish woman with a very long, wavy hair, like down to her waist. And my dad was a black man who picked his afro every morning. It wasn't like a gigantic afro, but it was an afro. And he took, his Ultra Sheen grease, and he picked his nice afro.
Did he have to pick with the fist?
He did not. And so I think you don't know what when you're growing up, you don't know about who you identify with and things like that. You don't really realize that until later, until somebody brings it to your attention. But I imagine that I saw this woman who's my mother, and that's who I identified with. But my hair didn't look like hers, and my mother couldn't do hair. So my hair looked
she couldn't do your kind of hair.
She couldn't do she couldn't even do her own hair. Okay, my mom was not
doubly bad.
She was not a hair person.
Okay,
and so she couldn't do hair. We'd always have to have other people do our hair, and I learned to do hair at a young age. But before. So when I learned to do hair, it was just like a tight ponytail, like slicked back, tight ponytail all of middle school for the most part. At the end of middle school, I decided I was getting a relaxer, and I got my first relaxer right before graduation. And then it's so funny. I was actually telling somebody the other day, I paid the lady like $50 to do this relaxer. And then I saw what she did, and I was like, why am I paying this lady $50 to, mix this stuff up and like put it on my hair?
And you're how old at this point?
12, 13.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I could do that.
I could do this.
I could do that.
And for $50.
Exactly.
I'll take half.
Exactly. And so I did. That is exactly. So I never had anybody else do my relaxer again after that. And I did mine, and I did anybody else's who needed a relaxer.
So you were just 12-year-old just selling relaxers to the rest of the kids at this point.
Yeah, just for me. Just for me. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
And so high school, relaxer. All 4 years, straight hair, wrapped every night, straight, like helmet every single day of middle school, of high school. Yeah. I had straight hair. And then it wasn't until after high school, I was with my oldest daughter's father. And I don't know how, but like one day my hair was curly, and he was like, wow, your hair looks really pretty like that. And I was like, you think so? And he said, yeah. And that was it. Like, that was it. That was it.
The compliment of a man.
Exactly.
Wow. Look at that. Mm-hmm. Really?
Really? You like us?
So, okay, that's a transition for you.
For me.
For you,
Yes.
But then how did that go beyond you to go, hey, I want to have a place where other girls can come in with this kind of hair, even though I've spent the majority of my life at this point, of this transition straight hair, like, how'd that now go beyond you, like where'd that desire come from?
So I probably started wearing my hair curly at about 18, 19. I didn't go to hair school till I was about 25.
Okay.
Right. So I had my hair curly for most of that time, except for one time when I cut it all off, went back to a relaxer because it was like very short. But then when I went to hair school, after hair school, I started working for a salon. It was my third salon that I worked for, and they did curly hair. So they took straight hair clients, but the owner was into curly hair and sent me to a class in New York for curly hair. And what was interesting was even before that, wherever I worked, whatever salon I worked at, when I was in hair school, all the curly hair people would look at me and say, I want her to do my hair. And I would be like, I'll do it. I didn't say I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
But I had this hair, so they're like, well, she has that hair, so she can do my hair.
Make my hair look like yours.
Make my hair look like yours.
I don't know what you did.
Exactly.
I want that one.
Exactly.
It's kind of like, you remind me of like at the barbershop, they have the pictures of like the different guys' haircuts. And you're like, give me number 3.
Yes.
I want whatever it takes to get that one.
Yes. And so I was working at that, so I did the class. I was taking curly hair clients, and I had, by that time, had already been kind of doing hair, including hair school and working outside of, out of hair school, would probably be about a year and a half. And it was nice. I enjoyed it. I liked the interaction with clients. I'm really a hairstylist, so I could talk to people. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
But when I did curly hair, the difference how they felt afterwards was like unlike anything I'd ever experienced. They would look at their hair in the mirror. They would say, "Can I hug you?" And sometimes they would cry. And but the hugs were it for me. I mean, when I first started doing curl, I got hugs all.
They would cry.
Yes.
That's crazy. You know, I can remember one time crying in a barbershop, and unfortunately, it wasn't like a good thing. I went to, I was with my mom at the time, and she had never really taken me to the barbershop to handle the haircuts. That was like, Pop's thing.
Right.
So she ends up taking me to like a female barbershop. And, at this age, I'm a young boy, and those of you fellas out there, you know how it is when we young, starting out, and we just starting to get the facial hair sideburns. We trying to get our sideburns dead right, even if they're not really there, even if it's like totally superficial. But so I had this little like fuzz on my sideburns. Right. I'm really particular about my sideburns.
Right.
So, but my mom doesn't know like barbershop, terminology and all that. So I remember I'm sitting in the chair, and the female barber says to my mom, "Do you want his sideburns blocked?" So for me and to my mother, we think blocked. Okay, we mean like blocked off, like okay. Apparently, that meant take it off.
Oh no!
So I remember sitting in the chair and feeling the clippers go up and down the side of my face, right?
Taking off your sideburns.
But I'm not really 100% sure. I'm like, there's no way. We said we wanted these blocked, these side. There's no way she cut my sideburns. It just probably feels like that. I remember getting out of the chair, and she handing me the mirror, and I look in the mirror, and I'm like, at this time, I'm like maybe 10 years old.
Right.
And like, Denzel Washington from Glory, like the one tear starts to come. And my mom, when she sees this, and she's like, "Oh my God, ma'am, I'm so sorry. I thought when you said block, that means..." So I cried. I've cried in a barbershop, but unfortunately, they weren't happy there.
Yeah. Well, speaking of crying, that's the other thing too, is that as a curly hair stylist, we have so many clients who come in and say, "I have had the worst experiences." Like they have had the same crying that you've had.
Yeah, the good cry.
Not the good cry. And honestly, sometimes they'll even like come in with the expectation that I'm probably not going to like this, but I need my hair cut. Because their experiences have been so terrible.
So where's the curly hair salon located?
It's on Grand Avenue, 134 Grand Avenue, second floor.
And that's here in New Haven, Connecticut.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. So but I think I heard you mention before, is this the only dedicated curly hair salon like in the area?
So we are, as I know, we are the only exclusively curly hair salon in the state of Connecticut. There are no other salons that.
So what's the like furthest distance someone's traveled like that
Oh my gosh.
Like a drive, like
Maryland.
30 minutes you had someone from Maryland.
Yes.
You're kidding me.
I'm not.
No.
I'm telling you the truth.
Someone's driven their car
with their husband
from Maryland
and children
to your salon.
Yes. They booked a hotel. Stayed.
Are you?
No. Serious.
Wow.
Yes. That's how serious it is.
Now, I imagine it's because apparently in Maryland there must not be.
I don't know why. I think it is like a lot of things in life. People are attracted to people, right? So you want what I can give you, but you also like me. Or you also like your barber or your hairstylist.
That's
or
huge.
Whoever your service provider is. There's something about them that you connect with and you just want to be with them.
So you're not just selling the product.
No.
You're selling you.
Yes. And
that's why you come here. For
yes.
me. You might even be able to get an awesome curly hairstyle somewhere else, but
people love their stylists.
You love this energy here.
They love the energy.
You love this energy.
That's right.
I respect that.
Yes.
I totally agree.
Because there are more curly hairstylists are popping up, and more salons that are specializing in curly hair around. But ultimately, whereas before it really was like you could only come to certain places, now there are more options. And so when somebody chooses you, it's because they're choosing you. Again, they want the service, but it's you that they want to be with.
Pay close attention, you entrepreneurs out there. Listen to that nugget. You are not just selling the product, Because whatever it is, I mean, there's people who decide, hey, I want to start a business or anything, whatever it is you do. And for most cases, unlike yours, I think yours is a very unique niche.
Right.
But, let's say that people, say I want to sell T-shirts.
Right.
There's a billion T-shirt companies. What's going to make you different?
Exactly.
I could find another good T-shirt just as great or even better somewhere else.
Exactly.
Why do I come to you for yours? And I think it's the person behind the brand.
It's you.
So you have the one location, but you mentioned I didn't want to forget this exclusivity piece. I would imagine as like an owner, an entrepreneur, it's like, not to sound like ridiculous or whatever, but it's really about the bottom line, right?
For sure.
Trying to increase revenue.
Absolutely.
Right? So I have to ask, what makes someone say, hey, I have a salon that obviously has things like overhead.
Correct.
Payroll. Have the lease and rent, payroll.
That's right.
Like I need to get money in. What makes someone say, you know what? No, I want my salon to just be for us curly hair girls. That's crazy to me.
Crazy. So when I first opened the salon back in 2011, I only wanted to do curly hair, but I had to pay the bills, and I was the only person working. So I took everything at any time. Listen, I know people see me now and they think, oh, she doesn't work that much. But if you knew how much I worked in the beginning, if you wanted to come in at 8 a.m., I'm there. You want highlights at 9 p.m., highlights at 9 p.m., I'm there.
I'm getting these bills paid.
You want blue hair? I'll do it. Listen, whatever you want me straightening your hair that's down to the middle of your back, that's what I'm going to do. Okay. But I think God has been so gracious to me in that I am not very, money doesn't, it's never been the kind of thing that motivates me. Money doesn't motivate me. It never has. I've always had, honestly, from shortly after high school, I've always had good paying jobs. I didn't go to college. And I mean, like, my jobs were equivalent at 22 to what somebody was getting paid out of college.
Yeah.
So money it's never been a struggle for me.
Yeah.
It just hasn't been one of my struggles, praise God. And so I think there comes a time when you're just like, I don't like doing this. This doesn't make me happy, right?
Yeah.
Which is shameless plug. Why I'm transitioning, not transitioning, but also beginning a coaching business for women going through transition, right? Because I think that we take for granted that we have so much time to do what we want in life. And in doing so, we do so much that we don't want to do in life, right? So especially when it comes to careers. So you're at a job, you hate doing extensions, like or say color, right? Because I'm not a colorist.
Okay.
I don't like doing color. So what I realized, because I'm not just a physical being, right, that I'm emotional and I'm spiritual, I realized that when I'm servicing this client, giving them highlights, and I'm not doing it coming from a place
You're not happy.
Coming from a place of like unhappiness or I'm giving begrudgingly.
Yes.
I will do a good job. But who wants to, I don't want to operate from that place. And I don't want you to be in the chair receiving this from me either. I want you to sit in my chair and receive just.
It's like spiritual transaction.
For sure.
I want this to be the physical manifestation might be something you like.
Absolutely.
But I want this spiritual transaction to actually be so saturated with goodness that you leave the chair and you experience things like people crying in your chair.
Absolutely.
Or driving from Maryland all the way to Connecticut.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and not to get like too spiritual, but it's the same thing with like giving when the Bible tells us to give, right? You give and you give out of the abundance of your heart, because if you're not going to do it, it's like there's no point in doing it, because God or church doesn't necessarily need your money.
Keep that.
Keep it. Exactly.
Better you kept it.
Better you kept it. Exactly.
Wow. Man, that is, but it makes perfect sense though when you know how we mentioned the person behind the brand, you're not just selling the product, or someone coming so far away.
And a lot of our clients, true story, I'd say half of our clients at least drive 45 minutes to come to, at least half of all of our clients come at least 45 minutes.
So I don't know if I missed that, but if you answered that point directly then. So what is it for you that makes you, at this point and beyond, can say still, because you could, you said you want to be doing something that you're happy about with the person in the chair.
Right.
But you're not behind the chair as much now. As your business grows, right? You kind of take on like an administrative role.
That's right.
Okay. So now with you not having to be the one behind the chair, why not just hire other people who feel fine doing straight hair or other types of hair for your salon that makes more money?
True.
Like, again, why the question bugs me. It's like, mind you, I don't mind it. I think it's beautiful.
Right.
But
right.
you just as like a business, minded, I'm going, you could still remain happy because you're just kind of doing the administrative role and just make more money. Like, does it really mean that much to you for these curly-haired women to feel that much more unique and great and confident about themselves when they come to your salon and know this building is just for me? Like, is that part of your
formula? Absolutely. Well, so 2 things. Yes. And there are so many times that a mom will bring her daughter in and that daughter will see people who look like her. Wow. And, and especially like, because we get a lot of biracial girls, right? A lot of biracial girls. Moms like my mom, wavy hair, straight hair. And so that's the woman that they identify with. But if you come into the salon and you see somebody that looks like me, like you look like me now, like she looks like me.
Wow.
And she has a hair salon. Like, there's some level of like admiration because it's like, oh, so I can have my hair and I can be successful. Or I can have my hair and I can wear it proudly because this woman who lives out loud, she wears her hair just like my hair.
It's like breaking the stereotypes.
Breaking the stereotypes.
Yeah.
And the second thing is that there's no shortage of business for people. Yeah. There's no shortage of business for a curly hair salon.
Yeah.
Like, it really isn't. Like, my girls are booked out a week
amazing.
or 2. I mean, there's so much. And that's the goal, is really just to continue to get people to know that we're here. And as long as they know we're here, then we don't struggle with business.
That's amazing.
And there was a time we did struggle with business, and we laugh about it now because we're like, we used to be able to go get lunch, and now you're lucky if you can eat crackers.
So how long has there been a salon?
10 years.
So for 10 years you've been doing this?
Yes.
So, I mean, where I think it's amazing for me, or just to have like knowledge of like my daughters are spread out now, but I mean, 15 years ago, I could have used you.
Right.
I have 3 girls, and they're mixed kids. That hair, thing, problem trying to get around, especially as a dad who doesn't know how to do long hair, especially long, kinky hair.
Right.
Really that would have been extremely like beneficial. So I know it's blessing people all over now, all the way
to Maryland.
To Maryland. Yeah. Crazy. So, you've recently, now, is it just one location?
Yes.
Okay. Interested in more than one location?
No, I did that.
Okay. But, I mean, maybe pulling the brand outside of like Connecticut. No?
Not right now.
Not right now? So when you did it, you said you did the like multiple store like in Connecticut thing though. Why no to that now? I mean,
it's
I mean, you're saying like your hairdressers are booked out. It's like I mean, I would imagine there's other girls out there who are in hair school now who are trying to whatever, build their skills, and they love to do curly hair.
Yes.
And I imagine the space that you're currently in, like it has a limitation. It can only grow, expand, hold a certain amount of hairdressers. Like, why not? Why not give other more people that opportunity?
Because I've done the 2 locations. I just found it very overwhelming for me personally. I really.
On the administrative side.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
So that's the funny thing is that I didn't even think I'd love administrative as much. That is where I thrive, actually, is growing my team. And helping. It's so much personal development. That's my favorite part, actually, about owning my salon at this point. Is not even it's developing my girls. It's crazy. I never thought I'd love it as much as I do.
What's the longest hairdresser one of your girls you've had?
I have 3 girls who've been there for 3 years. Nice. Which is
it's a big deal, like in hairdressing or the industry. I don't know if it's barbers.
It's a big deal. It's a really big deal because
for someone to stick around for 3 years.
Yes, there's so many things that you have to have because that's where they are for the majority of their day. So I am very particular about who I bring in or who I have to let go of.
Yeah.
To keep our energy and culture the way that I want to keep it. And
I like that.
And so if
keep the energy and the culture.
Yes.
I don't care if you're the baddest hairdresser.
Listen, I don't care.
Your energy better be right.
Listen, I don't even want it. I don't care if you are the best hairstylist.
Wow.
If you are not nice, kind, considerate, and get along well with others, I don't want you. I don't. I take them very untrained, actually. That's how I like
really?
to. Yes. I like to take them untrained.
So with someone with the right energy,
yes,
and spirit and teamwork,
absolutely,
but poor skills, like I mean,
I can teach them.
Wow,
I can teach them,
and you're perfectly poised to do so because
absolutely.
You're not behind a chair.
Exactly, and that's part of the reason I had to leave from behind the chair, so that because the girls who were with me, the three that I mentioned, they were with me when we were slow, so I was able to have weekly staff meetings, talk about the things that like were working. I was able to every single detail. I was able to put my hands in and identify. So they know very much my vision, very much how I like things run, and so I don't. I mean, they of course they're their own people. They have their own conversations. They do their own methods. They do their own thing, but I don't have to train them anymore.
Yeah.
But my new girls, when they would only be washing hair for me, and so I didn't really get to say like listen in or watch what they're doing, and so that's just that's not.
So how many girls total?
So I have 4 stylists right now. I'm training my 5th stylist.
Okay.
They start as assistants, and then they by assisting they do. Answering the phones.
So that 4 stylists, that includes the 2 girls who've been there for 3 years?
The 3. Mm-hmm.
Oh, 3 girls you've had there for 3 years?
Yes.
So that's the majority of your staff?
Yeah.
That's super dope.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I imagine you know their name. Can we shout them out?
Yeah.
Can we give them a shout out?
Susie.
Shout out Susie.
Shout out Susie. Talia.
What up?
Crystal. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That is so dope,
it's
man.
so wonderful. And they are really great stylists, and like people really like them, and they it's just wonderful. So like you said, I'm not behind the chair much. I actually stepped from behind the chair completely up until March, which I haven't made a formal announcement. I'll probably just work Thursday mornings doing hair just because I want to stay in practice and talk to my clients.
Yeah.
But so I have had to pass off all my clients.
Exclusive clients.
Yes, the people who've been coming to me for a long time.
How'd they feel about that?
They were, the month of December, they would be like, I'm really sad.
I'm really sad.
I'm like, I know, I get it. But in order for me to run
I want you to know, Lavina, I'm very disappointed in you.
Exactly.
However, I'm still going to come.
They are.
Because you are the Curly Hair Girl Salon.
Listen, I love that part. And they would tell me, I'm really sad that you're not doing hair. And I said, do you see that empty space on the shelf where there should be a product? That's because I don't have time to dedicate to things like inventory.
Yeah.
I don't have, do you see that there's like, there's no sign outside right now, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have time to get a sign made, right? We need these things, like even getting our capes
that's
embroidered.
True. Yeah, that's important.
All the things that need to get done. So if I'm there and I'm only doing hair, then I'm not paying attention to
And I think
else.
that's like a concept. What you're really tapping into is a concept, an idea that I don't care what you do, entrepreneur, creative across the board, has to navigate that thing.
Right.
Like how do I, because what starts the brand or the thing, whatever it is you do, is your passion for doing that thing.
For sure.
So for some to transition, like how do I scale up or how do I, broadly market what it is that I do so much so that it grows beyond just me.
Right.
It's a very, I think, difficult thing to do for many creatives and entrepreneurs is to say, you know what, let my hands gradually let go.
Yes.
So that I can do the thing necessary to grow the brand.
Right.
To grow, like, you have to do that. You have to stay on the age and like culture we live in now. You have to be able to be on social media, marketing, dropping your posts, getting that out there, whether, doing the book, branding, marketing that, doing the interviews, the show, right? Like I can't just say, nope, I want to stay behind my chair.
Right.
And expect it to grow.
Exactly.
You can do that in a literal sense, but it'll stay just with you.
Right.
And have a cap on its growth.
But the thing is that you are similar to me in that we're business-minded people, right?
Yeah.
And so the thing is knowing yourself and knowing where your passion is. So for me, I have found that my passion is in developing people more than it is in doing hair.
Than actually doing that.
Yes. However, there are lots of people who are single single like sole service providers
Yeah.
that essentially there's a way to grow your business, and that's by raising your prices. I'm not going to coach anybody right now on this podcast.
Yep.
However, there's always a way to grow. You just have to know yourself and know how you want to grow. So for me, like I said, I want to grow my team because developing them, like helping people make 6 figures a year, that brings me joy. Right? Like having people, like employing people who make 6 figures a year, that's everything to me.
That's
right?
amazing.
And I love doing hair and I still, there's still a passion for doing hair, but the newer passion is in developing people.
Yeah.
Right? So, but the thing is that if the passion had stayed doing hair, like, hey, say I took on some people and I'm like, I'm not liking this too much. This is not it. And I just want to do hair. Well, then I would have downgraded. I would have just went back to like myself and an assistant, raise my prices up so I can make what I want to make, put out some teaching videos because, scalability, right? We're talking about making more money in the amount of time that you have. There's always a way to make more money in the time that you have. You just have to figure out how you want to do it and where you want to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, where do you want to be? So do you want to be making those cakes? Like, cool, make those cakes. You got to charge more for your cakes because your cakes are in demand and you need to make more money because you're worth more money, because if people are buying your cake a month out, obviously you're worth it.
So do you want to go from making the cakes in your kitchen or owning the bakery?
Exactly.
Wow.
You got to know yourself.
So you're going to be, I mean, you mentioned it earlier in the episode about going forward past this point to eventually start the coaching business. Okay. How far out? Because I know when the ladies hear this episode, they're gonna want to know. Okay, is it launch now? Where can I find this? So how far out from now do you plan to have?
Right. So today is February 9th. It's my sister's 40th birthday. Shout out to my sister.
Hey, shout out. What's the sister's name?
Diana.
Happy birthday, Diana.
And so today's February 9th. I'm actually hosting my first webinar this coming Sunday on the 21st. And so, I know. You want to know why? Because
the 21st?
No, I'm sorry. What day is Sunday?
This Sunday?
Yeah. 13th?
Oh, wow, this Sunday.
Yeah. Well, it's just it's a free webinar that and it's a free webinar really just to talk about some of the things that I want to talk about in life. I don't have my particular titles up here, but they're like one of the first topic that I'm probably going to discuss is being honest with yourself about how you feel about your life.
Okay.
But essentially, my long-term goal is to target a specific woman, and that woman is a woman who's in her 40s and 50s who is just tired of, like not growing, who's just going day by day, like going through the motions and isn't living intentionally. So that's really what my goal is to help women live the next half of their life better than the first half of their life.
Phenomenal.
Because, too often we are just, we're taking care of the kids. We're working the job. We're maybe squeezing in a monthly date. It's just like we're just doing this because this is just what we've always done. However, like how truly happy are we? We could truly live intentionally and make these years count because like whoever thought we'd get to 40? Yeah. Who thought we'd get here? Yeah. And these years are going by so fast. And now it is upon you. And now it is upon you.
It is upon you.
It is here.
And that's not to say, like I'm a big advocate of not defining happiness and fulfillment for someone else.
Oh, of course not.
So if that is what you do,
absolutely.
Working, going back to and fro, taking care of the kids.
Right.
If you're doing that intentionally,
absolutely,
and you're fine with that,
absolutely,
awesome.
Absolutely.
Your thing is whatever it is you're doing, be doing it intentionally.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. So on the Free Lunch podcast, we have our tagline is free food for your soul. Okay. So every episode we want to end with something edible like lunch, free lunch, right?
I like it.
Something edible for the listener to take away. What would you say is the one-liner takeaway from everything that you've shared that you want the listener to remember?
That's a great question.
There could be.
You should have prepared me for this one.
I mean, it's probably a ton.
And I did hear. I know you do this because I've listened to your podcast. So there are some. And I guess what I would really want to impart to people is to define your own standard of beauty. Really figure out what is beautiful to you And if you'll let me just expound a little bit, you know, we're in a society where people think big butts, small waists, long eyelashes, long hair, full top lip are beautiful, right? This is the standard. You've got people going to get the BBLs, the lip injections, the hair extensions. And you know what? I'm not against any of those if that's what you truly believe is beautiful.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, like, I've got little lips and I'm happy with them. Like, they look great to me. So I don't, just because there are, you know, tons of women on social media and every filter that I have ever looked at gives me like this big top lip. That doesn't mean that I find that to be beautiful for me, right? Yes. Do I have plenty of friends with beautiful full lips? Yes. And God bless their beautiful faces. But for me, I'm happy with the way that I look. And so that's what I would love for women to do, is to define, like, figure out what beautiful means to you, not just what you've been fed from the outside world.
I love it. Hey, you guys heard it. It's Lavina with the free food for your soul today, y'all. It's free lunch. Peace.